Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan TV. The transfer window closed yesterday, so I thought I'd give you an update as to our transfer dealings over the summer. Now, yesterday it was confirmed that Daniel Arzani would be joining City, that City would buy him from Melbourne City, which is one of our sister groups actually. We own the club. And I did say about 4 or 5 weeks ago that this was going to happen during the World Cup. I mentioned this, that his agent and Daniel Arzani would be coming to London to try and sort out his future. A couple of weeks ago, Andy said the same, and Andy said that he'd be going to Celtic on loan. And lo and behold, that's what happened yesterday. It was confirmed that Daniel Arzani is going to Celtic on a 2-year loan. I think the City have called it a development pathway. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not sure if that's just a nice fancy name, so that the kids will think, yes, I'm actually going to develop and come back to City, or it just gives them that encouragement and that motivation and positivity about the whole thing. But to be quite honest, unless someone is absolutely fantastic, they won't be coming back to City by following a development pathway. But Arzani is an exciting talent. He's only 19 years old. And he played in the World Cup. He played in every game for Australia, I think as a substitute. He came on in every game. And he was the youngest player in the World Cup. So he's got a bright future. And we'll find out in the next couple of years at Celtic how far he might be able to go. Another one that actually quite surprising was Alex Zinchenko. We all expected him to leave. Well, pretty much all of us expected him to leave yesterday and go to Wolves. But it's a story that I'd mentioned 2 or 3 weeks ago, and said that he'd be going for about 15 or 16 million pounds to Wolves. And the longer it went on, the longer he didn't sign, the more you actually thought, is he actually going to sign? Because what's stopping him? I mean, if he was really going to go to Wolves, you'd have expected him to sign 2 or 3 weeks ago and done pre-season with Wolves and not with City. So as I said, the longer it went on, the more doubt would start to creep into your mind. And lo and behold, he didn't sign yet yesterday for Wolves. Now, you've got to try and look at the reasons why he'd do that. Why wouldn't he sign with Wolves and have a chance of a promising career with them potentially, or at least be playing regularly? Last year he got lucky at City. Without the injury to Benjamin Mendy, then Delph wouldn't have got a game at left back, and without the injury to Delph, Zinchenko wouldn't have got any game time at City at all. Or maybe a little bit in the cup, but that was it. He wouldn't have played any league games. So he got lucky that 2 people got injured to give him a chance. Now this season, at left back, same situation. You need 2 people to get injured to get a game. That's unlikely. And to play midfield, there's just too many people in front of him. You've got, I mean, I could reel them all off and I'll probably still forget some. You've got Gundogan, you've got Fernandinho, even though they don't all play in the same positions as him. But these are your midfielders you've got to get past. So there's 2. You've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got Bernardo Silva, you've got David Silva, you've got Brahim Diaz, you've got Phil Foden, you've got Riyad Mahrez. And I'm probably still miss somebody out. And so I think it's really difficult for him to get past 7 or 8 players to get a place in that starting lineup or even on a subs bench. I mean, I think he struggled to even get on the subs bench. His versatility is actually in his favour. The fact that he can play, say, as a pivot in the central midfield, or as an attacking midfielder, or as a left back or a left wing back. So I think that's in his favour. But I really can't see him getting any game time. And actually on the midfielders, I forgot Sane and Sterling as well. So what chance has Zinchenko got? I just can't see it. There's probably 10 people in front of him in midfield. Now, he could look at it and say, I had a great time at City last year, great camaraderie, lots of fun with the lads. We won a couple of trophies, won the Community Shield this season. I did get some game time. Maybe I'll get lucky again and get some game time. He's probably on good wages. And as I said, maybe the feeling around the club is what he wants. The chance to spend another season learning under Pep. And maybe he just says, I don't want to go. Because as soon as I leave City, it's only going to go downhill. So maybe by hanging on for another year, he might get a better option than Wolves. And we'll see what happens. But it's an interesting one at least. Next on the list is Lukas Nmecha. Now, it's been knocking around for the last couple of weeks that Lukas Nmecha would be going out on loan. We really all expected that. I think both Andy and I expected that. I think Andy was hoping he'd stay around the first team squad, but I expected him to go out on loan because there's no point sticking around. If you're not going to get any game time, you've got to go out and play, and a loan is probably the best idea for him. And there was talk of Swansea, that he was close to going there. There's talk of Blackburn being interested. I think I mentioned a week or so ago that he looked like he was going to go to Leeds and play under Bielsa. And then it looked like he was going to go to Villa. Apparently he was in the crowd or the director's box at Villa. And quite out of the blue, he ended up at Preston North End. That's where Brandon Barker's gone out on loan as well. So I really hope he has a great season. He's a big, strong lad, a lot of pace, averaging just under a goal a game at youth level. And so we wish him all the best. And I hope he has a cracking season with Preston North End. The last person to mention from yesterday is Douglas Luiz. Now, this kid hasn't got his work permit. We applied for it, we just didn't get it. So you've got to ask yourself, what now? What can we do to help the kid develop? Well, obviously, there's no way he can play in England or Scotland or in the UK, so you've got to look abroad. Now, one normal place that we'd send kids is NAC Breda. Now, as far as I'm aware, they've taken 4 kids off us this summer on loan, and we normally give them 5. So I was thinking, put 2 and 2 together, maybe we've kept a spot spare for Douglas Luiz to go to Breda. But on the other hand, the Dutch Eredivisie isn't the best standard of football. And to think Douglas Luiz was potentially going to stay with the City first team for the next 6 months, you get an idea as to how highly he's thought of by the City hierarchy, the coaching staff and Pep. So you'd probably want him to go to a higher league, a better standard than NSC Breda. So there's talk of potentially Nice in Ligue 1 in France, which is a higher standard than in Holland. And since Patrick Vieira is there at Nice, there's some people have put 2 and 2 together and said maybe he can go there. Another option is Toulouse, once again in Ligue 1. And there's talk that Toulouse might be another City Football Group club in the near future. I think we've sent Pablo Mari out there on loan, or Manu Garcia, I can't honestly remember. There's so many guys we get on loan, and I'll come to that in a minute. And so the other option is Girona, and that's probably a higher standard again. Girona playing in La Liga in Spain. And I know we've had issues with them in the past, with the last coach not playing many of our kids, but that guy's gone. And I think there's more emphasis on our kids. If they're going there, they've got to be in the first team, or at least having a great chance of playing for the first team. So that's another option. So we'll watch this space. We've got another couple of weeks, I think, before City decide on all the loans. And so it'll be very interesting as to what happens with Douglas Luiz. Now, I said I was going to talk about all the kids that we've got out on loan. And I think someone did a list on Twitter, and we've got 22 or 23, 24 kids out on loan as we speak. It's absolutely crazy. And probably we've got another couple of weeks to send kids to clubs in Europe. So I can see more kids going out on loan. I mean, we might have another 2 or 3, maybe even half a dozen of the academy kids going out on loan. Now, not only does it help their development, because they'll probably be playing at a higher standard of football than they would do in the academy or the EDS. It also gives a shop window for them to display their talents and for other people to see how good they are. And I think, as I've mentioned many times, that's the model City are developing, because, hey, if you send 30 kids out on loan, you're not really expecting many, if any, to make it into the first team. And I would expect all the kids that we send out on loan this summer will be gone from the club within 2 years' time. But we actually get some money for sending the kids out on loan. Now, no one really says how much it is, but it's at least a few £100,000 per kid. It depends on where they go. I expect the lower the league, the lower the loan fee. I think Pablo Mari, I think I read his loan fee was €450,000 or £450,000 for his current loan. So that's not an insignificant amount of money. And if you're going to send 22, 23, 24 kids out, and let's say the averaging £300,000 or £400,000 per loan, 22 kids, you're looking at a best part of €10 million or 10 million quid. Now that's a fair bit of money. I mean, it's a lot of season tickets to sell to get an extra 10 million of income every year. And if you also add the sales we've made on academy kids, we've got people like Pablo Maffeo, who went to, I think, went to Stuttgart for about £9 million. You got Angelino, about 4 or 5 million pounds. a little kid called Bobby Duncan, a couple of 100,000. Angus Gunn, he's gone to Southampton, 12 or 13 million pounds. Rodney Congola's gone. He was under £1 million, about 3/4. Bersant Celine has gone to Swansea, I think, for about £3 million. Joe Hart's gone out. Okay, he's not an academy kid, but he's still being sold. We had a kid called Coyote, who's been sold for £3 million. So all in all, we made about 37 to 40 million pounds in sales this summer. Add that to the loan fees, we've got the best part of £50 million worth of income. And I can see the club doing something very, very similar next summer. You got a great potential in a kid called Aro Muric, who's gone to NEC Breda. He's a goalie, and I can see him in a year or two's time being sold for something like 10 or 50 million pounds. So I can see this continuing. It's a lot of people to lose. We've lost a lot more actually, because we've released, besides the kids that have been sold and the kids that have gone out on loan, we've released a fair few kids as well. We've let some kids go on a free transfer and others on undisclosed fees. So all in all, in all those categories of players who have left the club either on loan or a permanent sale, we've lost, I think, 50 or 51 players. That's a heck of a lot. You know, it just gives you an idea as to the size of basically the business operation that City have got these days, and this business model of theirs, as I said, to to buy kids on the cheap, £1 or £2 million, develop them at the club for a year or two, or loan them out immediately and then sell them on in the future. And it's not going to change. Hopefully in the next week or two, I will be doing a longer section, a longer in-depth detailed analysis of finances and the City finances, and how the academy fits into all that. But that's for another day. It's pretty I think it's an interesting topic. Some people might find it a bit dry, but it's very interesting to see all the different sources of income that City have managed to develop commercially in the last 8 or 10 years, ever since the takeover by the Abu Dhabi royal family and Sheikh Mansour. That was just over 10 years ago. So that'll be an interesting one for the future. And hey guys, you know, we're looking, as I said, we're looking forward to the season. I'm really excited about our first game against Arsenal tonight. Doesn't matter, it's just United. I'm not really fussed about that. I'll be more interested in some of the games tomorrow, and some of the promoter clubs like Wolves. I'm really interested to see how they're going to do with all the new buys they've had. I think they spent about 80 million quid this summer, so that'll be really exciting. I'm going to play them in the not too distant future. So yeah, it's going to be a very exciting season, and I hope we can do as well as I think we're going to do, because I think we're a strong outfit as we saw last season, and I don't think we've gone backwards, we're only going forwards. Guys, if you haven't subscribed already to our YouTube channel, please, we do still need your support. The more the merrier, and you just have to click subscribe down below. If you can also click on the bell icon, you'll be notified of future videos. And if you like the video, it's always nice if you can click the like tick. And just stay tuned, guys. A lot of stuff coming up over the next few weeks. Lots of interviews, lots of in-depth analysis, previews, reviews. It's going to be fantastic. See you around, Blues.